Heath, you have broken the rule.
Rule.
The rule.
The rule of what?
The rule of not reading Del Toro earlier in your life. So it took me forever to get you into Del Toro.
Yes, it did. You have told me about it for a long, long time. I just kind of always brush it off.
Now,
and it's because it's the Wheel of Time's fault. Because all I heard from you for years, Wheel of Time is great. It's what if I love
I
it.
love the Wheel of Time.
It's my favorite fantasy series ever.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite fantasies.
And then I tried the Wheel of Time. It was the worst book I've ever experienced, ever. I won't go into great detail because we can have a whole that's the thing. If we were to structure our podcast like Wheel of Time is structured, we'd have 4-hour-long episodes to just get through the prologue.
This is the Pod of Del Toro, everybody. Welcome to the Pod of Del Toro.
So, yes,
we are here to talk about the phenomenal book series, The Del Toro Quest by Emily Rada.
Which, as far as I'm aware, turn your thing off.
I thought I had it down.
As far as I'm aware, this is the only podcast about Del Toro Quest.
I think it is.
So we're going to corner the market on
this. Yes, we are. Now do you remember, to really get you into Del Toro Quest, the words, the description of how this series is?
It is the cheese pizza of fantasy novels. But it's a perfect cheese pizza.
And for you listening, you're probably thinking, what? What do you mean a cheese pizza? Think about it. You know exactly what you're getting with a cheese pizza. It is simple. It is perfect. It is hard to screw up a cheese pizza.
But everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it. And that's the thing. You can go you can get pepperoni. You can get a supreme. You'll have
see, that's the thing. Is like if you were to describe a fantasy novel series as pizzas, this Del Toro Quest is a cheese pizza. It's wonderfully approachable. It is the most approachable fantasy. You don't get bogged down in lore and names and stuff. It's like just the perfect amount of everything. Lord of the Rings is like
a supreme.
You've got your sausage and your pepperoni, and you've got a lot. Not everybody likes it. Most people do. You can pick some of the things off
and get different pizzas out of it.
Wheel of Time is a pizza that somebody went into their cabinet and put everything in their cabinet. Let's crush up some saltines, put a jar of peanut butter on there, let's dump a jar of pickles.
So the Wheel of Time...
Somewhere under all that mess is a pizza.
So the Wheel of Time is a Scooby-Doo pizza somewhere in the middle of it.
There's dog food on it. It's everything. It's a mess. But yes, Del Toro Quest, the cheese pizza. I say this with highest regard, the cheese pizza of fantasy novels.
Yes, because everybody loves cheese pizza. And if you don't, there's a problem with you. Because it is a simple story.
Yes, and it's like, it's tropey as all get out. When I'm reading it, I know where it's going to go. I know it's going to happen, and when it happens, I love that it happened that way. I'm sick to death of any more books and movies that are always trying to pull a fast one on you and be like, oh, it was actually this. I'm like, I don't always need a twist. It's like if this had a twist in it, it'd be like, oh, I ordered a cheese pizza, and then it's grape jelly, not pizza sauce. It's like, I don't need that. Yeah. I don't need a twist. I just need it to be pizza sauce.
I just need a simple cheese.
That's all I need. That's all I want.
So how we're going to structure all this. Each episode is going to be about each book.
Yes.
And then after we get through each series of books.
There are 3 quests.
Yes. We're going to do a
retrospective.
Yeah, retrospective on each after the end of each series. So we have the initial Del Toro Quest. You have Shadowlands, Part 2, which
Yeah.
is just called Delta Quest 2.
And yeah, I will say, like, as much as I love um all the things that Immalarata has come up with and been able to come up with. Yeah,
The naming of the series.
naming of the series, it's like, what's the second one going to be called? I don't know. Del Toro Quest 2. Like, Del Toro Quest 3. It's like,
Yeah, that was overseas. Over here, it was Del Toro Quest, Shadowlands was the second,
yeah,
and then Dragons of Del Toro was the third series.
yeah.
And with all of it, let's get into the Forest of Silence. I actually started re-listening. So with this one, we'll go into part 1, and then we'll go into part 2, which is the prologue and the initial journey.
Well, yeah. Should we? Yeah. Some backstory of somebody who has never read Del Toro Quest happens to listen. I don't know why you would, because it's like,
get a hold of it. The 21st. Like I was saying, it's saying because these books came out when I was in elementary school, and that was like 2003, 2004 years ago, and like
and that's probably why I didn't read them when they did come out, because I was in high school, and so I was kind of getting out of like kid children's fantasy, because it is more geared towards like
elementary school, middle schoolers.
Yeah, and it's not hyper violent. There's a little sprinkle of romance, but it's just a really good adventure.
Yeah.
With a lot of magic and stuff like that. That's probably why, because I may have picked this book up when I was like 15 and go, like, I'm too mature for this kid stuff any longer. Give me the Silmarillion.
You were like SpongeBob trying to act like an adult in front of his granny. I'm sorry, grandmother. I have grown too mature for that anymore.
Yes, but I regret not reading them sooner.
Yeah, because I got hooked on the series because for me, I didn't get started until the third book. I picked up the third book first.
Yeah,
because of the giant snake on it. Yeah.
So you just dove in. You're like, who the fuck is this? Jasmine, Varda, and
yeah,
who the hell?
Yeah,
who the heck?
Yeah, who the heck? We're gonna try to keep the cursing down.
I'll have to dial down my cursing,
especially for everybody, so we can get everybody into this. So like with it, we'll start with part 1, because the Forest of Silence is broken up into 2 parts.
Yes.
The prologue, which we learn a good chunk of history of Del Toro.
It gives you a good amount of lore, but not too much. Like enough
to satisfy you.
Yes.
And not to overwhelm you with the rule. So the books so spoilers ahead for here on out.
Yes, if you want to stop listening to this and go read all of them and then come back.
Yeah, and then come back. But this is kind of this is going to be spoiler territory in the Forest of Silence. And then well, you know what? Before we do that, I want to hear. Let's actually go now. Let's do an overview on the book real quick, and then we'll talk to how you first experienced it. Well, because the whole time, you were asking me all these questions and all that stuff, as you were going, and how you experienced it when you first read it, because this is also your experience through it, of how it made you feel throughout the story.
Well, should we do some backstory of how it starts?
Yeah, why not? We'll go into a little bit of a lore of the prologue and stuff.
Yeah, because I think we did a little bit of setup.
Yeah. So you learn throughout part 1 a little bit of the history of Del Toro, where in Del Toro is composed of 7 different planes. Seven tribes.
Yeah,
7 tribes.
Yeah.
And you got the Jailus, you have You have you have Del,
The people of Dell. You got the Jailus. You got
the dreaded gnomes.
the Dread Gnomes.
You have the Plains people.
And then the Taurens.
Yes, you have the Taurens who came overseas, so they were kind of new to.
Oh, no.
I
No,
think.
those are the people of Dor.
Yes, Dor. Yeah,
Yeah.
Dor. They
They're
came
very
from Dorm.
similar.
Yeah, they came from Dorm.
And then you have I'm blanking.
Okay, it was the Jailus, the Mir, the Dread Gnomes, the Rallids, the Torah, the Plains, and people of Dale.
Yeah. I mean, and they're all humanoid, but like the people in Dell are just regular, normal humans, and then like the Taurens.
So the plain old white people.
Yeah, the Taurens are
a little bit of a magical.
Yeah, they got a lot of magic.
The Jalis are like these warlike people.
They're like the Spartans of Del Tora.
Yeah, the Dread Gnomes.
They're gnomes.
The
Plains people are some strange people.
yes. They come with like some odd powers and stuff. Like,
very odd powers, but probably my favorite character is Stephen of the Plains people.
Yes. And we will talk about Stephen later.
He doesn't show up. When does he show up?
He shows up in the Maze of the Beast.
Oh, that's right.
And then you got the Raylads, which are the small little blue people that are like these huge builders. They're ants. They're ant people.
But I wonder. And then this is talk when you get to the very last quest. Is why were the Capricorns not?
They were all
killed
out.
No, they weren't all killed out. Their city was destroyed because they kept stealing dragon eggs. But like,
spoilers.
Yeah, I almost wonder if like the Capricorns, when she wrote the first series, Capricorns weren't even in her head.
Probably.
And then, she decided to put them in the third one. And then if anybody asks her, she probably just goes, "Oh, they just came from Constancy."
Yeah. Yeah. So you got the 7 tribes,
and each tribe has a gem.
Like they all have gems, but each one has a certain talisman. A talisman, each talisman has more power than.
So it's a big, huge emerald and a big, huge diamond and a big, huge ruby. And the whole gist of this is across the mountains to the north are the Shadowlands, ruled by the
Shadow Lord. A simple villain.
Simple Dark Lord. It's very Sauron and Mordor. But he's desperately trying to take over Del Tora. And all of the tribes, are individually fighting the same enemy. And eventually, the hero, Aiden, a blacksmith, that's the poor blacksmith, unites the tribes and creates the Belt of Del Tora, which unites all of the gems.
And gives each tribe more power in the process.
Yes. And there are, not only of the tribes, each tribal area has a group of dragons,
which you don't really they kind of talk about it, but we really don't find out till series 3.
Yeah, and because it's like that's what I just finished. And it's like I know we have to go back. We had to start from the beginning, but like, some of those dragons I absolutely love, like the amethyst dragon, and I love the lapis lazuli dragon. The I don't give a crap dragon. Because that was just the best. That was like one of my favorite parts of the third series. And we're going to get back on track here in a second. Because each of the dragons, before they went into their enchanted slumber, they promised they would not invade or go into the territory of any other dragon. Because they're very territorial. And like the topaz dragon was like, "No, I have to stay here." And the ruby dragon is like, "No, I can't have to stay here. I can take you to the edge of my land." But the lapis lazuli dragon is just like, "Who am I to?"
No.
The wishes of
don't spoil it
of this person.
Don't spoil it, dang it!
They were like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, the other dragon's probably dead."
Yeah, what? But so, I actually found the book description on the TorQuest wiki.
Okay,
so this is a perfect way to do it. To summon up a good chunk of it. The evil Shadow Lord is plotting to